Hello, welcome to the Realm Adventure League Alpha 1.0 video. This video is going to be focused on talking about characters and heroes and going through some of the statistics and some data around the characters. So I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. So let's go ahead over to the into my current league of the draft picks. It's one way to get to the characters. The other way is through the Realm side. But here I want to talk about this profile, little what we call a character card. A character card has multiple things, multiple icons on it. And if you think about going to the how to play section, we have a area here that actually talks about the realm heroes. So I'll use this as more of an example here. So this little profile card actually is like a quick snapshot of the characters. That's going to be shown on different pages, areas, whether it's the draft or the guild page, so you can see, a quick status of the character. So these status icons are here. The first icon there'll be three different icons. There's only going to be one of them ever showing at a time. This is going to show whether that character is currently active, whether they're benched, or it's locked. And what the difference is that each time the guild is going to go do a battle, they're going to bench certain characters, and they're going to make certain ones active. So who's actually going off on the battle or the raid, and who's not. Green means that they're active. That means they're currently active on the roster and going to raid. So they will generate points for you that week. If they're red, they've been benched, so they won't be generating points that week. And if it shows up as a lock, and this won't be happening in alpha, by the way, because we don't have this in place. But once we're into the week by week leagues, they possibly will go at a different time. So once they've gone, they're locked. You can't move them around. You can't take them off your roster until the next week starts for the next week's matchup. So that's really just their active status. Gives you a quick view of whether they're going to be active or not. News says there's some kind of news article going on the character page. Something's happening, whether that happened during a battle or it's some news happening. Something is newsworthy affecting the character. Influence means that somebody has influenced them, providing them an item or an enchantment or something to that effect. Again, you'll see that on the character page directly. Ongoing effect is they have some ongoing effect going on. It could be poisoned, cursed, blessed. Something's affecting them. And there's ways to help with that later. We'll talk about that when we talk about the marketplace. And this starter icon is really talking about whether they're a starter in the guild or not. What a starter means is it's a go-to type character, right? So the guild AI actually creates starters every time we do a new season, which is about 13 weeks long. They indicate who their starters are for that week. Now that doesn't mean they're always going to be active, but they're their go-to person, so they're most likely to be active. The points here are their average league points. Obviously, their name, their guild icon, their portrait. The fatigue bar is sitting here, whether they're how fatigued they are, and obviously their role. So this is just a quick snapshot of the character. When you click on that character, you get a window that pops up, and let's go ahead and find. Let's go over to here and let's find a character, and we'll pop a character up into the detailed pages here. We go actually over to not how to play league system here. Show you this pop up because it actually happens over here when you see the characters. So if you click this pop up, you get this character summary window. In that character summary window, I went through this in a previous video, so I'm not going to go through all the detail here, but it's a little bit more about their experience, their league points, their trend. Which their trend system is this: the characters actually have what's called a fate in their career overall for rating, as well as their each season has a fate value, and that indicates whether they're on a certain trend, whether they're getting better, getting worse, they're inconsistent. So they all have these traits, and this is what some of this league history, point history actually shows you is what's really happening on with the character, performance-wise. So that's kind of an indicator of where they're at and what they're doing. These icons are the same icons you saw before, but you'll be able to click on these. I don't know if they're live yet. Yeah, you can, and see it's a little bit more detail. Not the full detail. You'll see that on the character sheet. It gives you more detail of what's going on with the characters. Okay. So then when you head over to the full character sheet, this is where you get to see the full history of the character, the full personality of the character. Obviously, it's the basic stuff of their name, their guild they're a part of, race, class, some details about them. Their background, and there's not a lot in here right now, but their background will actually have their full stories in there. And actually, inside that area, we'll actually see some stuff about their traits and their behaviors. The traits of the character are things like they're afraid of caverns, or they hate orcs, and those kind of things. And that'll come into play because actually that actually indicates during the battles some things that'll affect their performance. The behaviors is kind of things like if they're in the middle of a battle, they're always going to look for the kill. They're going to go for the weakest character. They're going to go try to fight the strongest character, or some kind of things like that. We will be publishing more detail around the traits and behaviors and stuff as we progress through testing. But all that information would end up being found here in the background section of the character, so you really see what their personality is like. Related news is all about whether they have news or not. We talked about that news icon previously. And right now it's just things that happen during battle, but in the future you'll see things that are being affected out in the realm. Could it be they were in a tavern and got into a brawl, so they've been benched, or something to that effect. From a statistics perspective, you see all these other areas here. The attributes are, strength, constitution, dexterity, those traditional type things you see in RPGs. These do affect their performance. So really, there's some of this stuff that's aligned to strengths, more of attack power, constitutions, the health, dexterity, etc. You can just think that what these definitely directly align to. And again, we'll be publishing more detail on this as we progress through testing, not just this test, but other tests past Alpha 1.0. So you just think about how that affects the type of the character attributes and the performance. Their averages is really truly their averages over their career. How much damage they normally do, healing. This is a cleric raid healer, so that's all going to be about how much healing they do on average per match. And again, if you remember the league point system that we talked about, it's actually on the league screen. That's how they generate points is the point system. So you can see their percentages of hit rates, critical blows, and those kind of things. And again, we'll publish more detail around that at a later date. Up here in the character window, if there was ongoing effects, you'd see little icons here. Right now, there's not many ongoing effects that are happening, so you won't see too much here in this testing. But you'd start seeing icons here that you'd be able to hover over and see what the detail is. Fatigue is they get tired. If they keep raiding week over week and they're not resting, they're going to start to get fatigued. Right now, we don't have any way for you to help them not get fatigued, help them rest. In the future, we'll have ways for you to help them, get rested up, heal a little bit, those kind of things. And right here is their inventory. We'll do a whole other video around how to, buy items and affect the characters and influence them. But this is where their items would show up. The APR section over here is the actual league point average. This is she generates 335 points on average. Her highest has been 995. Her lowest has been 37. She's been around for about 3 seasons and 38 raids. And again, we're going to start putting more statistics here. You saw some of that on the summary with their percentage active, which starts to tell you how often you think they're going to be raiding, and whether they're going to be benched or not, and start using that to predict how you're going to manage your roster. The equipment here, we have, you'll start to see new icons and things like that for the different types of items that they're wearing. Right now, you can hover over these and see how much spell power or attack power it gives you, or gives the character, the armor. And these will progress over time as well. And you can also tell whether they're enchanted or not. Right now, none of these are enchanted. We'll talk about enchanting when we talk about the marketplace in a separate video. But that's kind of how you can see the character's equipment. And then training. First of all, you can ignore the icons. The icons aren't accurate right now. A staff icon would show up here eventually. But training is all about their proficiency with a weapon or with a certain type of armor. Again, we'll have ways for you to help influence the training of a character or hero as we move forward with testing and roll out more parts of the game. So really this is starting to get to the point where we can start to see the full character sheet, give you the ability to go look at what's going on with the character and get some more insight, so you can make some more decisions on what you're drafting, or when you're managing the team, what switching out characters and things like that on your league. Okay. All right, so the last thing I want to end with is that, remember, we talked about this before, that characters are unique personalities. That means this individual, she'll be on multiple teams in multiple leagues, and when citizens are influencing that character, they're influencing the character, which is helping or hindering everybody that's got this character. so that they're not individually an instance of the character on your team that you're managing or controlling. You don't get to control their equipment and all that. They're a unique personality out in the realm, and they're with their guild, and they're fighting to protect the realm. You're just a citizen that's back in the tavern recruiting them on a piece of paper to your team. So just kind of remember that as you're playing the game, and we will keep kind of giving you the details of how it all works with the characters. So hope this helps you with your draft, and good luck in your leagues.